Thank you. Good to be here.
All right. It's high noon. Here we go. So I'm going to get us started. I just want to say thank you to everyone for watching this recording or being here live with us. We are here to talk about the 2023 Summer Writing Retreat, our big program that we have been putting on for the last, I'm going to say at this point, because who's going to fact check me? 14 years is what I'm going to say. I believe it's 14. It could actually be 15. I'll know for sure after this webinar because I'm kicking myself for not looking it up, but it's been quite a while. And for the first decade of the life of this event, we were doing it in person for a solid week somewhere in Texas. We do plan to get back to that place at some point, if not every year, then at least every couple of years. But for right now, for the last few years, we've been doing this as a virtual program all month long, 4 weeks. So I'm excited to talk to you a little bit today about what that program looks like, and then introduce our 3 instructors for our 3 classes, give them an opportunity to tell you a little bit about the classes that they'll be teaching, and answer any questions that you might have. So to introduce myself, I'm Becka Oliver. I'm the executive director here at the Writers League of Texas, and I will be your tour guide for the next hour during this webinar. And then also I'm just your main contact here at the Writers League for any questions about our summer writing retreat. So you can reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to answer them. But the first question, of course, what is the 2023 Summer Writing Retreat? This is a month-long virtual program that brings writers together to focus on craft. We spend a lot of time during the year, and especially with one of our big programs this year, the Agent Symposium, helping writers understand the publishing side of writing, the business side of writing. But we love, love, love to take a pause in the summer and focus really the majority of our programming on craft, whether it's, you're just getting started, you're working through a project, you're looking to take a project completely to the end as far as you can take it, and you want some time, you want to set aside some time to do that, but you also want to be inspired, you want to hear some unique perspectives, you want to spend a little bit of time writing. For all of these reasons, we set aside the month of July this year for our summer writing retreat. We have 3 classes during the month that focus on either memoir and personal essay, fiction, or revision. And we also have what we call our write-away option, which is for folks who maybe don't want to take a class, but want to spend a lot of time writing and want to be a part of the larger summer writing retreat. All of our registrants, whether you register for a class or you register for the write-away, you will have access to and be a part of the larger summer writing retreat event. And that includes special events like our Saturday craft seminars, our lunchtime meetups. We will have some special meetups where you can actually sit in smaller breakout rooms virtually and meet writers face-to-face, and then also our student reading night. It's a month of program that's been curated for you to hone your craft and also connect with other writers. Hold on, here we go. There are 2 registration options for the summer writing retreat if you're going to take a class. For the classes, you can register at level 1, and that means that you will be able to participate in the class itself. You'll be there for every session of that class. There are 4 sessions for each of our 3 classes. And then we have a level 2 where you can participate in the class, but also have a private consultation with an instructor. We also have the write-away, which again is happening every night. So there are 12 sessions total for the write-away. And for that, there is no class instruction, but we'll get into it a little bit later what you can expect from that experience. But all of these registration options, again, whether it's level 1, level 2, or the write-away, will give you access to everything that the summer writing retreat has to offer. I also want to mention at this point that if you drop questions in the chat box, I'm going to definitely make sure we circle back to them, but we probably will save them until the end, so just sit tight. Level 2 registration for a class includes 1 20-minute meeting with your class instructor. You're going to meet all three of them today on this webinar, and that's sometime during that month. So the month kicks off, and again, we'll get into the dates in just a second, but from the beginning of the month to the last class of the month, somewhere in between there, you will have this 20-minute session with your class instructor, one-on-one. You are welcome to share up to no more than 10 pages of your work if you'd like some feedback from the instructor, but you also, many people don't even opt in to share pages, but instead for that sit down meeting, bring questions and just have a very specific focus on what they might want to talk about. It's meant to be a 20-minute meeting that is what you need it to be. But there are only 20 of those total in each of the classes. So if you're interested in a level 2 registration, be sure to keep that in mind, that once we fill those 20 seats for the level 2 in each class, then they won't be available. Here's some frequently asked questions I thought I would grab at the top. If I register for one class, I can attend all of the classes, right? No. The way you register for the summer writing retreat is by selecting one of those classes and registering for that. And when you register for that class, you're a part of the whole program. But if you register for the fiction class, you are not also automatically registered for the memoir and personal essay class or the revision class. Whatever class you register, that's the class you will attend. But if I register for a class, I can attend the right-away sessions, right? We actually do open up the right-away sessions to all of the class registrants during the month. So if you register for the memoir personal essay class, which takes place on Monday nights, and you want to hop into the right-away sessions on Tuesday and Wednesday and take advantage of that writing time, you absolutely can. We reserve the first half hour of those sessions for the people who register for the right-away, because we spend time at the top talking to each other, getting to know each other through the course of the month, talking about our intentions for the evening, all sorts of other things. But you will be able to come into those sessions starting at 7 p.m. on any night that your class is not meeting. So let me actually go back for a second, sorry. Another question that comes up often is, can I register for more than one class? And the answer to that is yes. If you decide that you want to take both the fiction class and the revision class, the reason why we schedule the classes on different nights of the week is so that you're able to do that. So you could sign up for more than one class. Keep in mind your instructors, and they may touch on this today, are going to have homework for you. You are going to school for the month, so you're going to have stuff to do outside of your class time that you want to make sure that you don't overtax yourself, but you know yourself better than I know you. So if you're interested in taking more than one class, you can absolutely do that. And again, you would just register separately for those classes. So I wanted to get into the special events, because we have special events for you happening all month long. And we are kicking them off on Saturday, July 8th with a program that we call our Saturday Craft Seminar. This is a really great program. If you've been to it before, you know that we've been doing for the last couple of years. And the way it works is we find craft books out there in the world that we're interested in, that we think our community would be interested in. We invite the author of that craft book to come and give a presentation. WLT staff member is in conversation with that author, and then we take questions from the larger group. The very special piece of this is that everybody who attends these Saturday craft seminars, everyone who registers for them, receives a copy of the book. And so that's built into what is the individual registration for those events. Everybody who's a part of the summer writing retreat will have access to and receive a copy of the book for the 2 Saturday craft seminars that we're doing. So we are starting the month on Saturday, July 8th with a great book about writing heroes called The Secrets of Character with Matt Bird. So that event will start at 10 a.m. on July 8th and go to about 11:30. And everybody who registers for the summer writing retreat will automatically be registered for that event. And then we officially kick off the summer writing retreat with an orientation session on Sunday, July 9th. This is an opportunity for you to hear additional details about the entire month ahead for you to start to see some of the other people who are attending the summer writing retreat in the larger Zoom meeting, and also for you to ask any last questions. This is an event with myself walking you through the month, and it is recorded. So if you can't make it for this event, don't worry about it. You're going to receive it on Monday, July 10th, but it is just a last chance before we kick off to find out any information that you think you might still be lacking. Believe me, you're going to get a lot of information in the days leading up, and then also to ask any questions. And then starting on Monday, July 10th, and for the next 4 Mondays, we're going to have our memoir and personal essay class every evening from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. This is with Rachel Starnes. We're going to welcome Rachel up in just a few minutes to actually get into the details of the class. But for now, just know this is the schedule, 6:30 to 9:30 on Mondays. And then we also, at the same time, simultaneously, you might say, we have the Right Away happening from 6:30 to 9:30, also on every Monday night. Let me make sure, yeah. So then Tuesdays, starting July 11th, we're gonna have our fiction class with Chaitali Sen, starting at 6:30, going to 9:30 every Tuesday evening. And then again, at the same time, we'll have our Right Away happening. Also on Tuesdays, we are going to have lunchtime meetups. And keep in mind, all of these special events are completely optional. We're putting them together so that you have something to come to every week, a different type of event that's going to keep feeding your writer soul and giving you some really great information and also opportunity to connect with each other. But they're completely optional. Come to them, don't come to them. You will receive recordings. But these special lunchtime meetups will be every Tuesday starting July 11th at noon. And they're going to feature special guests each time who are going to talk to you specifically about a particular craft topic. And then we're going to have plenty of time for all of us to engage in conversation. And as I like to say, chat and chew. So there you go. Starting with, we have details still to come for most of these, but starting on Tuesday, July 18th, I can tell you that we're doing a special WLT Off the Beaten Craft presentation, which is with this really cool writer, Evan Narcisse, who has been writing for video games, writing for comic books, and is going to be talking about writing for interactive mediums and beyond. And these are intended to be presentations that are not for you because you're writing a video game, perhaps, or writing a comic book, but if you are, you're going to really want to check it out. But also just to, we've learned so much as writers from hearing writers in other areas talk about their craft. And we learn these really cool nuggets that maybe if we stay just in our lane, we end up missing. So we're so excited for this WLT Off the Beaten Craft. Just one example of what these Tuesday lunchtime sessions are going to look like. And then on Wednesdays, who doesn't want to demystify revision? So on Wednesdays with Stacey Swann, 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., our revision class, and then also simultaneously the Right Away. Thursdays, in Thursday evenings, we're going to bring you a couple types of events. On Thursday, July 13th and the 27th, we're going to have a meetup, which means you're going to come into a larger Zoom meeting room and we're going to send you into smaller breakout rooms so that you can really get some time talking to and meeting other writers. And then we'll shake them up and we'll throw them back out there and you'll meet some different writers each time. So for a solid hour on Thursday the 13th and Thursday the 27th, you're gonna have the opportunity to meet other writers. And then we do have a special WLT on the Craft of Writing presentation happening on Thursday, July 20th, that is all about writing personal essays. I especially love this because we have an awesome class lined up with Rachel on memoir and personal essay writing. And I think there are probably folks in the fiction space or who are doing the revision who would be really interested to hear a little bit about this topic as well. So we're excited to have this for our Thursday, July 20th presentation. And then we have Saturday, July 29th, our second Saturday craft seminar. This one with Chuck Wendig, big best-selling author, writes a lot about writing gentle writing advice. I love the subtitle, How to Be a Writer Without Destroying Yourself. Who doesn't want to see what's between those pages? So this book is going to be hot off the press. It's publishing in the next couple of months. So we are going to have Chuck do a special presentation, be in conversation with a Writers League staff member, and then everyone is going to receive a copy of the book. So again, these are included in your summer writing retreat registration. They are individual registrations are available as well for folks who aren't doing the summer writing retreat. But right now, the only people who are being registered are our summer writing retreat registrants. You don't have to separately register. You will have access to it and you'll receive a copy of the book. So if you do the math, those two events individually, we register them at $35 each. That's $70 that you are already adding to your value of the summer writing retreat if you join us for the whole event. And then finally, we end the month with the magical, just one of a kind student reading night. This happens on Thursday, August 3rd, and this is an opportunity for us all to come back together. Our instructors will say a few words about their classes, how it all unfolded, how it all went, and then each of the classes will have 3 readers representing their class who will read a bit of their work for this evening. And folks who are registered for the Right Away will also have readers at the summer reading night, or student reading night. So that's the way that we cap off the entire event. You are welcome to, we will make this accessible so that if you have family or friends who want to come and hear you read, or just want to join in the magic of this event that you talked up for a month and they were sick of hearing you talk about it, so now they want to experience it themselves, we're going to open the doors and anyone who wants to join us for the student reading night will be able to. So again, frequently asked question, what a great lineup. What if I miss one? Everything that makes sense to record is recorded. So all of our class sessions, of course, if you're registered for a class, sometimes you're not going to be able to be there. We really do hope that you will try to be there for every class session, but sometimes it's not possible. So those will be recorded and shared the following day with everybody who's registered for the class. Lunchtime presentations, we will record. Saturday craft seminar presentations will be recorded. The orientation session will be recorded. So anything that you are hoping to see, but you know for sure there's a date that you're going to miss, don't worry, you won't miss a thing. We will record it and everything will be available to anyone who registers for the summer writing retreat through September 15th, 2023. So you'll have the rest of the summer to watch your videos, catch up on everything that you want to catch up on. We're also going to, for those of you who love Discord, we're going to create a special Discord channel so that you can communicate with your summer writing retreat registrants, fellow writers throughout the month. So there will be one place on our Writers League of Texas server where you'll all be able to catch up after events, share what you're learning, anything else you want to do on there that has to do with writing. And the summer writing retreat will be your spot to go to and continue to meet people and make connections. But enough for me. You know, you're all probably really here to hear about these specific classes. The summer writing retreat has, I believe, is a one of a kind event. I mean, this does not happen a lot of places, what we're talking about here, a full month with so many special events, so many additional opportunities for you to connect. But really at the heart of it, the heart, the soul of this event are the 3 classes. And we are so lucky this year to have, I think, just the dream team of instructors. So I am excited to introduce them and give them a chance to say a few words about their class and give you a sense of what you're going to be in for if you decide to sign up. So let me go ahead and turn. We'll start with our memoir class, which again is going to take place every Monday. So throughout the month, July 10th, July 17th, July 24th, July 31st, with our instructor, Rachel Starnes. Rachel Starnes is the author of The War at Home, A Wife's Search for Peace and Other Missions Impossible, published by Penguin Books in 2016. She's the daughter of an oil rigger, a former military spouse, the mother of 2 boys, and has lived in Scotland, Texas, Saudi Arabia, Florida, Nevada, and California. She holds an MFA in creative nonfiction. Her essays have appeared in Front Porch Journal, Colorado Review, and O Magazine, and she has been a guest on NPR's Fresh Air. And we are so lucky to have Rachel here teaching our memoir and personal essay class this year. So Rachel, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi, how creepy is it that I'm wearing the same shirt right now as I am in that picture? That's, wow. Okay, a little on point. So I'm so excited to be teaching memoir and personal essay. I have such a soft spot in my heart for the idea of nonfiction and narrative these days. I've got a couple of concerns right now that are top of mind that you'll probably hear me carp on and on about in class. But they're mostly things that I'm really excited about. One's just the number of hybrid narratives that we're seeing and experimentation in the form in memoir and personal essay these days. I have a theory that there's impact that we're seeing from attention spans and sort of cultural trauma from the pandemic. And I'm really interested in seeing how that's playing out in our understanding of narrative and storytelling. But I've always really been interested in the neuroscience behind a lot of this stuff, and especially in the formation of memory and how you tell a good story working with an imperfect tool, and really calling that out from the beginning, thinking about how do we work within the constraint of what counts as truth, and using devices from all kinds of concerns in writing. But, how do we do that while still kind of holding some grace for the fact that our memories are not perfect and our brains are blind organs in a dark cave muttering about what other things are telling them. So I'm really excited about that. One of the things that I will gripe about a lot, though, is the kind of the AI thinking behind ChatGPT and some of the directions that writing is going. In my parallel life, I'm a learning architect and also a 360 feedback consultant in the tech sector. So I hear a lot of really excited and hopeful things about how, yay, no one's ever going to have to do any writing anymore. And I have thoughts and feelings. So I'll be sharing those. But I think the other way that line of work really impacts what I do as a writer is I think a lot about the neurological value of reflective writing and what that does for us as the tellers of story, that we're not just writing to entertain or to set the record straight or to capture something. This actually does have an effect on us. We are rewiring our brains as we write. And I think paying attention to that and leaning into the value of that is really wonderful. So what else should I tell you?
And can I ask Rachel just to focus on who should think about taking this class, because every year our memoir class is a very popular class for the summer writing retreat. There are a lot of folks who have already started working on a memoir. There are a lot of folks who maybe have a memoir manuscript that they are ready to dust off and dive back into. Can you talk a little bit about, I guess, who you see as this class being servicing someone in what stage of the process? Or would you say that either of those folks and even people who are specifically writing, of course, personal essay would find a spot here in this class?
Oh, absolutely. I'd say all are welcome. And this is actually a really good summer for me to be teaching this, because I think I have been at almost every stage that a writer coming into this class would be at. And I'm currently in the trenches with book number 2. So if you have something started, if you're stuck on something, if you have something near completion, or if you're really just, you have some stories and you're looking for a way to get them out, I've been there. I'm currently stuck in many of those phases too. So a lot of what I'm doing are a lot of what I'll be covering in class are things that have worked for me or things that I'm trying right now. And I think pretty much anybody at any stage will find something of value in what we'll be doing together. And sorry, that's my little meeting thing. If I could just say too, like one of the things that I'd love to highlight is that the structure of how the class is going to unfold, how I'd like to run each one of these nights is it's going to involve some writing kind of together. There will be definitely a lecture component, but we'll start with kind of a warm up, and we'll cover a particular topic for each week. But then we're also going to have some breakout rooms and some longer time to do exercises together and to also engage together in the close reading of a text. So we're going to be bouncing back and forth between a lot of different activities in each of these meetings. And my hope is that whether you have something you're working on outside of class or not, by the end of the month, you should have as well like a significant body of work that you've been building up that you can either incorporate and knit into whatever you're making, or can just kind of be something that you can experiment with and kind of cross-train in another direction. Yeah, and I'm excited to do some new stuff, to cover some new stuff with form this time around. I've found some really neat resources that I'd love to bring in, and these are both from like full-length memoirs and also some interesting stuff happening in essay at the moment. So cool. I'm super excited.
Thank you so much. So everyone, Monday nights, memoir and personal essay. And of course, if you have any additional questions about anything that Rachel just said, or if you have questions about the class, drop them in the chat box and we will circle back to them for sure. But thank you so much, Rachel. So then Tuesday nights, we have our fiction class with Chaitali Sen. Again, every Tuesday night, July 11th, July 18th, July 25th, August 1st. We're going to dive in for you fiction writers. Chaitali Sen is the author of the novel The Pathless Sky and the story collection A New Race of Men from Heaven, chosen by Danielle Evans as the winner of the 2021 Mary McCarthy Prize in Short Fiction. Her stories and essays have been published by American Short Fiction, Boulevard, Catapult, Colorado Review, Ecotone, Electric Literature, Los Angeles Review of Books, New England Review, and many other publications. She holds an MFA from Hunter College, City University of New York, and currently lives in Round Rock, Texas. Talk to us about the fiction class.
Thank you, Becca. I'm so excited to be back with the summer writing retreat. I've been teaching craft classes with Writers League of Texas since I think 2016 or 2017. And so I always design my classes around things that I'm also grappling with in my own writing. And so this year I have been really looking at what makes a book hard to put down, even if, whether you read it in 3 days or, it takes you a few months, but you're going to finish, you're invested enough to want to get to the end of that story. And I've discovered that in any genre, any time period of writing, it's pretty much universal that there needs to be some level of suspense. And so suspense as a genre is sort of misleading. You need some kind of suspense in all genres, even from picture books up to, epic novel. So I've had a lot of fun sort of deconstructing that. And so I am going to be digging into this with my students in the summer writing retreat. My classes are very interactive, so there will be, a lot of discussion, a lot of digging into a deep dive into a mentor text, text that we use as models, a lot of writing and, some lecture from me, and then things to take home and do for the week until the next class. So I've devised this around sort of 4 craft elements that I think are important for building suspense. One is character. It's like the first level. Do we care enough about this character to want to know what happens to them. Then there's story, which really can be boiled down to problem solution or problem resolution. What is the problem that the characters are facing, and how are they working towards a resolution? And then there's scene as the building block of fiction, and borrowing heavily from this chapter, The Art of Staging, in Charles Baxter's book, The Art of Subtext, and really pulling out all the potential that we can from scene in deepening the narrative and building suspense. And then the last one is on the level of language. It's the voice, the narrative voice, which is conveyed through sentences, and word choice and all that. So we're going from macro to micro. I love doing deep dives into these craft topics, and I can't wait to meet all of you. I don't know, what else should I talk about?
I will say, I'm so glad that you sort of talked a little bit about your thinking and where you're at, and that this is a topic that you're really wrestling with in your own writing right now, because in the title of your class, it does say, it has the word page turner, and it mentions any genre. And I think it's so valuable for a fiction class to really address that we're not talking about mysteries and thrillers being the only place where you need suspense, where you need people turning the page, where you need, momentum. And so for a fiction class for all genres to really zero in on that, I love it so much. And I'm so excited. But I'm glad you talked about that, because I was wondering if some folks would see the title and think, oh, I'm not writing suspenseful fiction. Well, yeah, hopefully you are. If you're not, take this class and figure out how to make sure that you are writing it. And same question to you about where someone might be in the process and whether the class would be appropriate for them. Would you agree? Yeah, wherever you are in the process, but also if you're writing short fiction or you're writing novel length fiction.
Yeah, for any length of fiction. And yes, jumping in wherever, if you're just starting to write fiction, if you've got a novel that you're revising, at any level, there will be something that you can take out of this class, a lot, I think. And one thing I was also going to say is that, there is an element of subjectivity. It's sort of subjective. It's, a matter of opinion, whether this book is really suspenseful or not. But there's also some objectivity and universality. And so we're going to try to home in on the universality, the what can be objectively pointed out as something that this text is doing that really makes people want to keep reading. And, just putting aside personal taste for a little bit. Not that there's no room for that, but, let's look at what are things in these craft elements and in story structure in general that is designed to pull the reader in and keep them. So, yes, any level, if you're, even as a seasoned fiction writer, every new project, you're kind of figuring everything out again.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I love that you made that mention of subjective and objective. And I think that one of the things I love, and I see all the time in evaluations from the summer writing retreat for all of the classes, and I think it's true again this year, is that there's a lot of sharing of text for folks together to see, I'm not just going to lecture you and tell you you've got to do something. I'm going to show you how other writers have done it, and you're going to get some good examples on everything that we're talking about in terms of craft in these classes. That's correct, right? For all of you, you're all going to be pulling out some text and sharing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I hope you'll.
Did I lose you?
Oh, are you there? No, I totally agree, and I hope you'll join the other. I would take all 3 classes if I could.
the word succession. So I do have some feelings and some thoughts, but I'm going to hold them and just say that we're going to keep on going, and we're going to go to now, of course, our Wednesday class is our revision class. So especially for those of you who say, my goodness, I'm just going to take all of these classes. We wanted to do them in the natural progression. You're starting out with memoir, personal essay. You're going to fiction on Tuesday. And then, of course, what do I do with these pages now? So our revision class on Wednesday evenings is going to be taught by the wonderful Stacey Swann. Stacey's debut novel, Olympus, Texas, is an indie neck pick, a Good Morning America book club selection. It was longlisted for the Center for Fiction First Novel Prize. Stacey holds an MFA from Texas State University and was a Stegner Fellow at Stanford University. Her writing has appeared in Texas Highways, Lit Hub, Electric Literature, NER Digital, Epoch, and other journals. She splits her time between Austin and Lampasas. Stacey, I'm so thrown off. I'm so sorry, guys. Stacey, tell us about revision.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Becka, and thanks for having me teach again for the summer writing retreat, which I've taught in person and online last year, and it's always such a wonderful time. So I am really excited to teach revision. It's one of my favorite topics to teach, and a big reason for that is because I felt so traumatized by it early on in my kind of journey of writing. I remember one of my first workshops, larger workshops after my undergrad that I was in. I had done a story. I had gotten all the feedback from my class members. We had the chance to submit a revision during class. Dutifully, listened to everyone and what everyone said, incorporated all their advice, passed it back out, and had the whole class say like, oh, this was much better before. You made it so much worse. And just being mystified by that, learning through that process. And then in my MFA, mostly writing rough drafts, first drafts for classes, generating a lot of stuff for the workshops, and then only starting to revise when I was working with my thesis advisor, giving her a revision of one of the stories that she had seen in class and having her tell me that I had made it worse. So I had a little crisis and realized I just didn't understand revision at all. And I could take advice from other people, but was having trouble listening to my own instincts about what I should be doing with the stories. So it's really exciting for me to teach this class, and we're going to be talking about revision on this wider level. So it's going to be things that would apply to novel revision, to short story revision, to like full length memoir revision, because that's also got like a very similar arc often to novels, and even personal essay revision. So we're looking at these craft elements that really show up in everything, right? And how we can think about those and return to our work with fresh eyes. And so now, after all these years of writing, revision is my favorite part. I find the rough draft part when I'm generating new pages to definitely be the most difficult. I'll write for about 45 minutes and my brain will just give up. But for revision, I can just I lose track of time. I enjoy it so much and really enjoy digging into the process of it. One of the reasons why I feel like revision can feel so impenetrable to people is that so often we're only seeing the final form of published works. We don't really see what happened to get that short story or that essay to a place that we loved it so much. So one of the things I'm really excited to do about in this class for the, we won't have the pre-reading work for the first class, but for the other 3 sessions, is to give y'all versions of short stories and essays that I found that you can see an early version and you can see a late version, and we can compare those two together to see exactly what changes were made and why, which is just really fascinating and something that you don't get to see a lot of. And then we'll have a chance to have really nice class discussions about those. One of my favorite things last year about the summer writing retreat, I did a fiction class on beginning, middles, and ends. And we were reading, one week we'd read all the beginnings of a story, a novel, and a flash piece. And then we would read the middles and endings. And we had just these wonderful discussions about them. And I selfishly, as a teacher, always love those because I'm learning so much from the students as well and what they're taking away from the text. So that's part of what we'll be doing each week. We'll also be doing some writing exercises within the class itself. There'll be exercises to take home with you. And we're going to be approaching revision from multiple different angles each week. So the first week we'll talk about things that are more rooted in character, and that even includes our like point of view choices, the voice that we're writing in, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. And then we'll move on to structure, like how do we step back and do revision on what feels like a more macro level, where you're really having to move pieces around and maybe really renovate on a large scale. Then we'll move on to some more kind of smaller craft elements, but that are kind of threaded through works all the way through. And then we'll close with looking at the line, both revision on a sentence level, but also revision of dialogue, because I feel like dialogue is such a huge part of so many things that we write, and it's got a lot of kind of specific, exciting things to talk about. So I always enjoy doing that. And for just who might be a good fit for this class, it's really anybody. Even if you're not fully finished with a work, right, but are already thinking about what revision you may want to do in the future. But the great thing, right, is that we all have a lot of stuff in our drawers. So hopefully this class will give you a lot of ideas and you're like, oh, that essay I wrote 4 years ago, but never could get placed or maybe never felt completely done. It'll give you ideas to go back to all the different things hiding on your hard drive, hopefully. So very excited to be here and to meet all of the students very soon.
Yeah, and I think it's true for some writers, whether, you know, there are those of us who write and we never look back until we have to look at the whole thing. And then I think there are those of us who probably allow ourselves to get caught up in revision along the way. So it might be, I think it'll be interesting for writers of both, you know, sort of stripes to get some tips from you about how they might approach revising before done versus revising when done, and what the difference might be. So yeah, revision, it's a great class. And I think that especially, you know, with your varied background also, Stacey, with both writing fiction and nonfiction more in the personal essay, I know, side of things, I think that'll be really valuable for folks too, depending on what it is that they're writing. So thank you. So here we go. Why would you not want to choose one of those classes and instead do the right away, perhaps? Let me tell you really quickly about our fourth option. So the fourth option, the right away, was created to be a place for the folks who say, I really want to be a part of the larger summer writing retreat, but I'm just not ready to maybe take on an entire class, take on everything that might come with that, might not be ready to really focus on a particular type of craft and honing something while I'm still just really trying to get the words on the page. But we've always wanted to welcome in folks who wanted the larger experience, but really also just want some writing time. I mean, when you see the word retreat in the title of this event, I think, you know, oftentimes we think that's what I want. I want the retreat piece of it. So that's what we built the Right Away for. So every night when these classes are taking place, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, in a separate Zoom room, we're going to have the Right Away. That is 12 sessions. And let me tell you, we've had years where someone stuck it out and did all 12, all 3 hours, 36 hours total. Pretty freaking amazing, but it's meant to be what you need it to be. So if you want to show up every Monday and Wednesday, but you take Tuesday off, that's fine. You want to show up every Monday, you want to show up every Tuesday, you want to be there the entire time. But the way the Right Away works, well, first of all, so that we have a photo, this is me wearing sunglasses a long time ago, if I'm being honest. But so we have a staff member in each of these Right Away sessions. Often it is me, so you will spend a lot of time with myself if you opt to do the Right Away. We start each session by allowing anyone who'd like to. We start with our cameras on, and we invite anyone who would like to say hello, of course, but also to say something about their intentions for the evening, what they're working on, what they're excited about tackling. We do a writing prompt just as a warm-up, so nothing really long or extensive. Sometimes it's a game, sometimes it's a very serious prompt, but we do a writing prompt to get everyone warmed up and started. We share usually after the writing prompt, and then we jump in. And at that point, everybody turns their cameras off and we spend the rest of the time writing. You're welcome to talk in the chat box to each other if you have a particular aha moment or just want to share something funny you wrote to yourself just now. Whatever you want to do, be as active or as inactive in the chat box as you'd like. And then we come back together again at the end after 3 hours. Some folks leave early, some folks stick it out. Again, it's whatever you want it to be, but we touch base one more time and then we say good night. And then we do that again for 12 sessions. So that is the Write Away. And again, if you register for the Write Away, if you just want to see what this summer writing retreat is all about, but you're not ready to take a class, the Write Away is great for you. If you want to hang out with other writers, you want to be in a space with them, it's great for you. If you want to get some writing done, if you want to look back at the end of 4 weeks and say, well, that was, 20 hours of writing I did over the course of 4 weeks that I probably wouldn't have done otherwise, the Write Away is for you. So consider signing up for this one and just know that you will be a part of the larger summer writing retreat, including all of those special events that I mentioned at the top. What happens next? So this has been our informational webinar. We would love for you to sign up and register for the summer writing retreat and join us for the month. It is truly my favorite thing that we do every year, again and again, year after year. So consider signing up and joining us. But if you just have questions still lingering, you're welcome to send me an email at becka@writersleep.org anytime, and I will answer it for you, get back to you. I'm also always happy to just tell you if I think the summer writing retreat is for you. So if you're wondering, am I going to get this out of it? Am I going to get this other thing out of it? Drop me a line, we'll talk about it, and I will be super honest with you because I want you to have the best experience possible. And then finally, if there are any questions, I know we're a small group here on our live webinar, but if you happen to have any questions in the room right now, you're welcome to either drop them in the chat box or unmute yourself. If any of the instructors have, if you guys have any questions, I'd love to know, but also if there are any, last things that you wanted to share, you're welcome to, no pressure. But I'm just going to kind of open it up right now in case anyone has anything that they want to say. And again, apologies for that interrupted moment there with our Wi-Fi. No? Cool. All right. Well, that's our 2023 Summer Writing Retreat informational webinar. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in, whether you're on YouTube or you're here in the space or you're watching the recording later. We are so excited to spend this summer with you. So reach out if you have any questions. And to all of our instructors, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for just putting into words what you love about your classes and what you're excited about for the summer. And I look forward to seeing you in just a few weeks, if you can believe it. So yeah, webinar dismissed. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, Becca.
Bye-bye.